welcome to the Waycross Studio. We are here with Wright Gwyn from the Forest Park Environmental Awareness Department. Wright, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You are here because there are so many programs that are coming from your department for the residents of Forest Park. We're actually not going to have time to hit every single one, but we're going to hit a whole bunch of the seasonal things that are immediately coming up to make sure the residents don't miss out.
Right.
So let's start. The first one I want to talk about as we're cleaning out, because it finally feels like spring. It finally feels almost like summer.
It's 80 degrees outside right now.
So that's both exciting, maybe alarming, but that's another story. So we have large appliance collection.
Right.
Tell me how that works, because we may have those in our garages or our basements, and we need to get them out.
Right. This program started basically when the federal government put restrictions on disposing of items, appliances that have Freon, because Freon is a climate warming kind of gas. And so what we have to do is collect them, properly dispose of or drain the Freon, and then we send that Freon to another source to be cleaned up and filtered and all things like that. In order for residents to do that, they've got to go through a rigmarole of getting a professional to come and drain it. Then that, even if it doesn't have Freon, if somebody cut the tube, you still need to have a professional come, look at it, and if it still has Freon, drain it, slap a sticker on it certifying that it's been drained, and then they get a Rumpke sticker and put it on there saying, yes, this has been looked at, and all that could cost like $200 per unit.
Oh gosh, okay.
So what we have done is we've worked out a deal with a company down in Kentucky.
Okay.
And so we collect them every Thursday. People have to call us to schedule it, let us know what they're putting out. We tell them, okay, this is the way it needs to be done. They put it out Wednesday night. And then those that have scheduled it, we have Public Works come by on Thursday morning or Thursday early afternoon and pick them up.
Okay, that's fantastic, because there are certain things in our houses as we clean out, we don't know how to get rid of it.
Right.
We know, hopefully, that we're not supposed to just stick them out. Don't just stick it out on the curb and hope the Public Works will see it. That's not how it works.
Right.
So what they need to do is call your office first. Let's give them that phone number now so they have it right in this segment.
Okay, it's 513-595-5263, or an easy way to remember it is 595-LAND, L-A-N-D.
Okay, excellent. That's very environmental. I like
Right,
that.
right,
I like
right.
that. So if you are cleaning out your basement or your garage and you have that old freezer, air conditioners, what are the kind of appliances we're thinking about here?
Dehumidifiers, there are a lot of those. There's refrigerators and freezers of all different types and sizes. There's, we've had some water coolers because they have Freon in them. And window AC units, not the central unit, but just a window unit. We'll take those too.
Okay, those are all really big and take up too much room in the garage.
Right.
So this is great. This is really great.
But we will also take other appliances as well during the summer. And so we'll take stoves, washing machines, dishwashers, dryers, things like that. And so, but again, you've got to call us. Everybody gets 2 appliances each summer.
Okay.
And then if there's more than that, then we have to talk to them and find out, you know, is this a business or is this?
Yeah.
So we have to just kind of monitor it a little bit. But we do about 70 units a year. And then with Freon, we do around 50 or 60 at $200 a pop.
That's it, because you want to be able to get rid of it and be responsible, but also we don't necessarily want to spend $200 for something we're getting rid of. So
Right.
That's fantastic.
And we've worked out the deal with the business that we're partnering with that it's much less of a cost. Because we guarantee 20 units at a pop. He comes up, picks them up, he doesn't have to worry about it, and comes so it's a lot cheaper.
That's great. Well, the next thing on the list is kind of in the same vein of it's spring and it's summer and we're cleaning out, because the next thing on the list is the Forest Park Citywide Yard Sale.
Right.
Which I love because I'm a yard sale buff. So let's talk about that. When is that? How do we sign up? What's going on?
Okay, it's May the 4th.
Okay.
It's always the first Saturday in May.
Okay.
And it goes from 8 to 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
all right? And people register. They give me their address. They give me 5 items, types of items that they're going to sell. We put it on the website. We also have a paper map that people can go by the city building and pick up and find out where all the sales are. We do have certain locations. We can have individual homes. We can have churches, which we do. We have the senior center. People have registered and signed up for that, so there will be a lot there. And also Kemper Meadow Park for those people that really do not have a good location, because Forest Park has a lot of cul-de-sacs and, going through the weeds. It took me a long time to figure out 8th section.
Okay.
And I'm still having trouble. So, for those people who don't have a good location, Kemper Meadow Park right on Kemper Road, West Kemper Road. And we've got about 19 households that have registered to be
so
at the
that's going
park.
to be a good destination too. So there's 2 kinds of people excited about yard sales. One are the sellers. So just to recap, the sellers will want to know that they can sign up to be on the map, and that's how people will find your house. That's a big deal, because when you have a yard sale, that's the biggest thing. Although apparently if you're in the A section, maybe you'll want to go over to Kemper Meadow, because Wright won't be able to find your house. But
That's true.
That's a possibility. But I love that there's other locations. If you don't live in a neighborhood or you have a yard where you can really do it, you could sign up to be in Kemper Meadow Park and be with all those other 19 groups. I know I recently talked to someone from the Forest Park Women's Club, and they said, yep, we will be set up on that day in the Forest Park Senior Center.
Right.
So go shop that, because that's one of their fundraisers. And also, you invite and put the word out to churches. Can say, hey, let's have our church rummage sale that day, or let's offer tables up, or things like that.
We have 2 churches that have signed up, and so
Excellent.
you know that a lot of people in their congregation are going to be
Yeah.
bringing stuff, so those will be highlighted.
Excellent. So there's a lot of opportunities if you're looking to sell at the yard sale.
Right.
And then for those of us who love to shop yard sales, because you never know what you're going to find, that's my favorite, you have a map we can use. There's some locations that will have a whole bunch in one space, like maybe some of the churches. Definitely the senior center has the women's club set up. The Kemper Meadow Park will have a lot of people.
And some streets. Some
Okay.
of the people on streets have gotten together, and so there's like 3 or 4 houses on a
Okay.
street that you might want to see, because we've got them organized. We have a map on one side of the paper, and we have the addresses on the other side.
Okay.
So you can see if there are like 3 houses on one street, you might want to visit that street and just go boom, boom, boom. And also you would look to see where are they selling.
That is fantastic, because having the map and just working around the city of Forest Park, one of the early years that I went and shopped this, I love this event, so I attended it more than once. One of the things I really liked about the event is it also brought me into neighborhoods and parts of Forest Park that I hadn't really had a chance to look at. And I know like the beautification committee gets to look at all the neighborhoods and how pretty the yards look. But this is one of those things that folks get to see the rest of Forest Park. So I kind of like that.
The first time we had this, we weren't really sure how well it was going to run. And this has been going on close to over 20 years. So it's kind of grown, and it's a traditional thing now. But when we first did it, we weren't really sure. So the board, the environmental board, and I would go out to different locations and survey, talk to each person who is having a sale and find out what their thoughts are and things of that nature. And a large segment of the people who were participating said, I never really knew my neighbor. And so they had like a yard sale together, and so they got to know one another. And so it's a great community event, and it gets people out and people talking, and apparently also getting to know one another. So.
And it fits in the environmental program department, because instead of all of this stuff winding up in a landfill, it's going to wind up in my house, to be honest. Let's be honest. No, it's going to wind up in someone's house that needs it. It's going to be a way that someone can get some things that they needed. But also, at the end of the yard sale, those of us who still have stuff we haven't sold, we don't have to put it back in our house or in the landfill, because you have a St. Vincent de Paul trailer that is scheduled to be at the city building.
We have 2.
You have 2.
We have
Okay.
2. Now, Yes, because they're going to then take it to the back to
Okay.
their community center, and they'll fix up everything and then
Sort it,
and resell it. But one will be strictly for the senior center, for the
Okay.
women's club and the Democratic club, because
Okay.
they had to bring theirs all the way up the hill to our trailer, and they just packed it full. And I said, no, 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 we can't do
Okay.
that anymore. We're going to get you your own
Okay.
trailer. So they have their own trailer, and that's right across from the senior center, right
Okay.
across the parking lot. So it's right there. So don't go there. Don't go there.
Okay.
Okay, that's for them.
That one he just told you to go to,
Don't
don't go to that one.
don't
Okay.
go there. Ours is right behind the fire station.
Okay.
So, and we'll have board members there, environmental board members there, and we'll help unload, and then we'll pack that trailer, and that's the one for everybody who is participating.
And
in
how
that.
long on that day is that trailer going to stay? So we know when to start packing up our stuff.
From 1 to 5.
Okay, so from 1 to 5 on yard sale day, which is May the 4th.
May the 4th.
On May the 4th, if we have stuff that's not selling, if we have stuff that we want to donate and not have to put back in our house afterwards, hallelujah, we can bring it to.
Right.
And what we're doing is we're bringing it to that same city building parking lot where
Taxes
Harvest Festival
are,
is.
yeah.
You were just
That's
there
it.
for taxes. Hopefully you were just there for taxes because that just ended.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same spot, so we're all used to going there. That's, the fire
Right.
department's right there.
Right behind the fires. You
Okay.
can't miss it. It's a huge
Okay.
trailer.
And we can't forget the date because it's May the 4th, which is Star Wars Day, which is May the 4th be with you.
You've been thinking that one up a long time, haven't you?
I could have left that out, but there was not really a chance that was going to happen, was there? But hey, anything to help people remember.
That's
right?
it.
Right?
That's it. Or the first Saturday in May.
Yeah, that's the, so for the
Official.
rest of you,
Yeah.
for the rest of you who are not Star Wars nerds, it's the first Saturday in May, and that way it'll be the same every year.
Exactly.
So we have our spring cleaning with Appliance Collection, and we have our spring cleaning with the yard sale.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're ready to keep the kids busy all summer because
Right.
that's coming really soon. And the environmental department has ways to help with that too. So let's talk about your camp scholarships.
It's during the summer, we work with kids during the school year. And we work with the teachers and try to help them develop things at their schools. During the summer, there seems to be a lag because everybody's doing their own thing. So a long time ago, I guess 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we said we have to do something. So we thought about why not day camps? We have great organizations in Hamilton County. We have the park that is just right down the road. We have the zoo. And so we thought, why don't we provide a 50% subsidy. We'll pay half of the cost for 1 week experience for anybody who wants to. All they have to do is sign up with whatever organization they want to, get a receipt, fill out our application form and attach a copy of the receipt and send it to me. Take the kid to the day camp, have a great time. In September, when all the day camps are over, I'll revisit. I will check with the organizations to make sure they attended. And if they did, then I take it up to the finance and we write them a check for half the amount to reimburse them.
So it's the important things to know about this is that you're talking about the programs by Great Parks,
Right.
because we have Winton Woods right down the street, and the programs from the Cincinnati Zoo, and they already have the resources and the planning and these programs
Right.
in place. So it's a way that Forest Park can offer things to residents and kind of maximize resources. Let's
Right.
take advantage of what's already happening.
Right. We don't have the expertise that they have or the resources that they have, and they do dynamite work, both of these organizations. So why not take advantage of them?
And that way, and the plan is sign up, do the camp. The 50% reimbursement comes in the fall.
Right.
But they sign up for it.
As early
soon
as they
as they do their
can.
camp.
Now,
Okay.
right now,
Okay.
it's towards the end of April. If you see this and are interested, I would encourage you to go ahead and call now because they're filling up fast if they're not already full.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So we
That's true.
advertised
It's not-
this about 2 months ago, and I was going, whoa, and I was a little behind then. So I would recommend that they check it out.
Because Cincinnati Zoo programs and Great Parks programs are really
Popular,
popular.
yeah.
And it's the whole county looking at those.
Right.
So Forest Park residents who want to get their kids in those, go right now and do that, and then sign up with you.
Now, what I'm also thinking about doing is modifying this program. Right now, day camps, we know it's difficult for people to go down, drop off their child, then come back up here and then drop and go pick them up. It's really a hard thing for them to do. So I'm exploring, and I'll be doing that this fall, subsidizing residential camps, maybe a whole week. Where they can stay at the camp, and all the parents have to do is drop them off on a Saturday or Sunday and pick them up on the next weekend. So we're going to
want to do a residential camp myself. Am I too
adult
old?
camp.
I think I'm probably too old, but I think that sounds like a great week. So that'll be something you're looking at.
Right, we've been looking at it for a couple years now, but I think it's about time to pull the trigger on it.
Okay. Well, that is, so we've covered cleaning out your house. We've covered keeping your kids busy. Of course, Forest Park just had a whole youth summer fair of other ways to keep your kids busy, so you can look for more information about that online. And now we can go towards some of your environmental programs that you have going on. We're not going to cover everything, but one of them is, this is Forest Park. So let's talk about the forest of Forest Park and the reforesting of Forest Park. You have a tree program. Let's talk about that.
We do have a tree program. We subsidize 6-foot trees by about 75%. So the average cost of a 5 or 6-foot tree is around $10 for the residents, and we'll cover the other $30, $35. It all came about when the emerald ash borer came through and just devastated our trees. And I remember the time when a public works guy was telling me about it. Says, "Well, show me an ash tree." I'm not familiar with an ash tree. So we jumped in his car. We go down the road and said, there, and they were all dying. And I said, "Whoa, this is more than I thought." He said, "This is just the beginning." And we've had other infestations since that time too. So we've developed a program called Reforesting Forest Park. We have distributed so far over 900 trees. It's about a 15-year-old program, and we've done about 900. Now, not all of them have survived. If 50%, I'll be very happy. I've talked with some of the people, and they say, "Oh yeah, these are doing well, but we've lost a few." And I said, "Okay, all right, that's fine." So people can order 2 trees. We have 4 different kinds of trees this year. We have the black gum and the bald cypress. There are big trees that can grow up like 60, 70, 80 feet tall, canopy trees. And then we have 2 understory trees. We have the serviceberry, autumn serviceberry, and a dogwood. And they're the smaller trees. And so you can fill out the tree order form, write your check. That's how we do it. Send it to me, and I'll reserve them. And then the trees are delivered in October. When they start going dormant, we ask that the residents have the holes ready to go, to get them in the ground, water them until the first frost, and then water them really well for the next couple of years, because you can't go wrong. You can't drown them. And you'll be fine. So it's like 1st of October is when they would get the trees.
You're right, the emerald ash borer really wiped out. I mean, it's Forest Park because of the forest, and so you want to make sure it's a tree city. Forest Park has been awarded the designation of being a tree city. That's a thing, and that only happens if you actually have the trees. So making sure that, and we've talked about this every Arbor Day, all of the things that trees do for a community. They keep the temperatures down on your street. There's statistics about kids who grow up in areas with more trees and things like that. So, and the fact that you're making them more affordable for a bigger tree. I've transplanted little things, and that's just for that little thing to actually get up to becoming a tree it's a long process and a challenge to get it there.
Well, if they can escape the lawnmower. I read an article that when I was growing up, they would give you a little pine seedling about this size, and you would take it home from school. Yeah, take them home from school. And then you're supposed to plant them. I read an article that said about 95% of those were mowed over because they couldn't see them. No one could see them. The grass would grow up high, and they'd see them, and then zoom, they'd be gone.
That's true, okay.
So that's why we figured.
Your trees are about 4 or 5 feet tall?
Ours are
Yep.
if you mow over that, you need some glasses, I think, yeah.
Your grass is your
And
grass.
you got a hell of a good lawnmower.
Your grass has broken a few city codes if it's up that high.
Oh, it is. They will be coming and knocking on your door,
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think they'll let it get that high. That would be. So that's fantastic to make that more affordable. And then I remember that you also give some tips when you bring them the tree. Here's what you need to do for your tree to remind them.
It's all on the website. There's a video for trees that are in containers.
Okay.
You need about a 2-foot hole wide and about a 1.5 feet, 2 feet maybe deep. Not very deep at all, but you also have to check to make sure that there's not a pipe. You're not going to dig into a pipe, so
Okay.
we recommend that they call oops.
Okay.
And all that information is on the website. And I make sure before I send them out, I send everybody an email saying, okay, make sure you do all these things. And if you don't know how to plant a tree, watch this video.
Okay.
And so far so good.
And if you are a local business in Forest Park, are they also able to get up to 2 trees?
Yes, in fact,
Okay.
the first year it was a business who wanted trees, and we didn't know anything about it. So we called up a nursery and says, we want some trees. We want 10 trees.
Okay.
And well, they gave us 10 trees, but they were like 20-foot trees. And if you've ever tried to move a 15 to 20-foot tree, it's not easy. I learned a long time ago, you got to be a little bit more specific
Okay.
on what kind of tree and what size of tree and what container size of tree. So over these years, I've slowly learned to be very careful what you ask for.
And you have more information on the specific trees that you mentioned. All of that is on the environmental section of the Forest Park website. You have
Right.
your own section. And we'll talk more about the website
Right.
afterwards. But anything you ever wanted to know about those, that's on there. And they can just call you.
Right, and there are photos of them of what they will look like in the different seasons.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so if the family wants to vote on which tree they like
Exactly.
better, and I like that you've picked some that are canopy, big shade trees, and some that are going to stay smaller, so you can pick what matches your yard best and what you need best.
And we try to change them every year because you need a good diversity. The thing that got us with the ash tree was, I guess it was a big sale for ash trees back in those days, and a lot of trees just died. So we're trying to get all different kinds. Every year it's a different species of tree. And so we'll hopefully over the next 10 more years or whatever, if it keeps going that long, we'll have a nice, diverse urban forest.
And if someone bought 2 trees every year, they're going to wind up with a good forest in their yard.
I've had to talk to a couple people who have ordered 12. And I said, where did all these trees go? I have a big yard. I said, you better. And they also say, well, some of them didn't make it. I said, okay. I got that.
Attrition.
So, but we're trying to I'm holding those off because they've had their share. We're trying to get new people to come in.
Spread the trees.
And
Okay.
if we have extra, then they'll get there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on the note of environmental and yards and keeping our yards green, let's talk about the lawn. Let's talk about the Green Mower program.
The Green Mower program was new last year. I was reading some things and I noticed that an organization, a county organization, was starting a reimbursement program for lawnmowers, battery-operated lawnmowers. And it was the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency.
Okay.
And so I called them up and said, what is this program that you're doing? You're giving $100 gift cards to people who buy these mowers. And they said, yep. And I said, can we partner with you? You do all the vetting because they have to register with them and everything. You do all the vetting and everything, and then send us, whoever was from Forest Park, send me that information. I'll contact them and say, hey, we'll give you another $100 gift card.
So this is in addition to what the Air Quality Agency is doing.
Right.
Oh,
And then
I didn't know that.
then we promoted it saying, not only do you get one, but you get 2 if you're interested in a battery-powered mower. Now might be a good time to look into them because you can get $200 off.
That will hugely defray getting that. And a lot of us are in that space where our mower's heavy or our mower needs something or we have a hard time with the gas one starting them or things like that. You know the city's going to come around and check the grass height for the code, so we got to mow it.
We got to mow it. And there are all kinds of mowers. I went and checked on it. On my website, I've got links to the best mowers, different characteristics to look for, things like that. So if they don't know anything about a battery-operated mower, go to my webpage, just at the very bottom, click on those links. You'll learn a lot about them. Now, right now, the agency, the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency, their funding is gone.
Okay.
But ours is not. So that people can still get $100 gift cards from us.
Okay.
So I want to make that very clear.
Okay. Well, that's because I have seen it posted through the Southwest Ohio Air Quality Agency, and then I knew that they had to pause theirs. That doesn't apply to Forest Park residents if you do it through Forest Park.
Exactly.
So call Wright. We keep giving you that number. So that's where you get all this information, but also the website. That's helpful because this is a new piece of equipment for most of us. What do we care about if it's a battery operated mower? So it's really great that you have that on your website.
Right. And so far, when people come in, I said, did these gift cards kind of inspire you to go ahead and make the plunge? It didn't hurt. Most of them said, oh, that didn't hurt. And so, and I've asked them a couple times, do you like him? Because it's different. And the majority say, yeah, it's really nice.
I think someone mentioned that they found that theirs was lighter and just easier to move around than the gas one.
It depends on
sure, it depends on which thing. I don't have any statistics on that. But,
right. So it's interesting. So we still have the money, and we'd love to give it to people if they buy a mower.
Absolutely. I love that you partnered with the agency and that your program is still there. So
well, they did over 1,000 gift cards already within the first 2 months. I was going, wow. And I said, are you going to do it next year? They said, I don't know. They don't know if they have the funding, but we will.
Year to year, they're guessing, but you've already made plans.
I've already made plans to continue it, yeah.
That's excellent. Now, you're in the process of developing another program for our yards, because we've talked about the trees in our yard and the grass in our yards, but you're working on something called ReWilding.
Right.
Let's talk about that.
ReWilding is a landscaping technique that incorporates more wildflowers and native plants. Right now, we've gotten used to, traditional flowers, mums, or whatever, color. We want color, and a lot of times we change it depending on the season and everything like that. And we have a lot of grass involved, and so we have taken out a lot of these plants that were very beneficial to other species that are around us, for the insects, for birds, you name it. These plants have slowly disappeared, and we substituted them with other types of plant items or plants. And so we're lacking in the resources that these other species need. So what we're trying to do is encourage people to replant these native plants or these wildflowers so that these insects can begin to find these places. And if we have, islands all through Forest Park of these different native plants and wildflowers, then they will be more sustainable, and we would benefit from their
things pollinators like, things that squirrels like for seeds, things that
nectars for hummingbirds or other different kinds of birds, seeds for birds. We have bees. We need bees, and so the bees need to be out there. I mean, pollen everywhere. We need that. So if you just look up wildflowers or native plants and see all the benefits that these plants give us, and if you look at them, you won't think that much because we don't think about what is also in your yard. We're not the only ones in the yard. There are other species all over the places that depend on what these plants can provide. And right now, they're limited in quantity and quality.
And I know you've done some programs on this, and one of the points was this doesn't mean you have to give up your play space in the yard. This can be parts. This can be corners in the backyard. This can be areas that we're not talking about just wiping the whole thing out. If you like part of it to play on,
right?
You like to kick a soccer ball in the backyard, kind of thing like
right.
that. Right.
We start simple.
Yeah.
If you're interested in this, then I encourage you to contact us. I've got 2 people that I've been working with that are very knowledgeable, that offered to help get this thing started. Like you had said, it's developing. We haven't really figured out all the pieces yet, but we hope that by next year, we will have all the pieces together and we can promote something and also help subsidize the cost of those plants or seeds, depending on which way we go, that people might want to try.
And I know if people have questions and want to know more detail about what you mean by rewilding, you did record a program with some of those resources that you talked about, and they can find that linked on your page. They can
Right.
find that linked on the Waycross page. And so if you just look up rewilding Forest Park, then that'll come up. And that's another way that people can find more details, because right now we're just kind of hitting all the different topics.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The rewilding, I know Oxford, where I live, the whole city is beginning to get involved in that. And they've got pilot plots in parks and stuff, trying to see how they work.
Okay.
And there are some, they have, I think, a permit that allows yards to then go more rewilding landscaping techniques. And so I'm not sure where the city wants to go with this, so we got to work with them. But
Sure.
I think if we can just start getting plants in, just like we did the trees, get more trees in of different species and varieties, I think the whole ecosystem of Forest Park would become a little bit more balanced.
Keep more of the forest in Forest Park.
And plants in Forest
Yeah,
Park.
and the plants that are under that tree canopy
Right,
that
exactly.
you've made with that 900 trees that you've given out so far. So,
Hopefully
yeah,
900 trees. Right, right.
assuming they all live.
Which, yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
We have covered some of the things that you have going on in your department. That's not even all of the things. These are all things that happen annually. They might slightly look different every year. And of course, one of them is a brand new thing you're working on. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on all the places that you can learn more information. So I want to cover a couple of those. The first one is always the Forest Park website. When you go to forestpark.org, there's a section that says city offices, and you can just click on environmental awareness. Yeah, and that will, all of it's on there. Also, though, they can email you.
They can email me, and they can get on my email list. I've got 2,700 residential emails that I send out periodically that goes directly to that household. And a lot of people like that. I've gotten a lot of comments from that. So if they want to be included, that's on the my homepage, environmental homepage too, where you can just click on it. It says, I want to be included in your email list, and I will do that.
And if they have specific questions, they can email you directly, and
Right.
you'll get those. They can also call you directly, call your office. We've said that number before, but we'll say it again. Go ahead and share that one more time.
Okay, it's 513-595-5263 or 595-LAND, LAND.
Okay, so we can email you, we can call you, we can go check out the website. And then I also want to mention the city's Facebook page. The city has an official Facebook page that's not, just kind of folks chatting. And the environmental programs show up on there, as well as everything else, recreational sports,
Right.
concerts, anything. The city is doing a whole lot of projects, just every season. And really, unless you click follow on the page, it won't show up in your feed, and you'll think, oh, I haven't seen anything lately. As a matter of fact, if you haven't seen anything lately, you probably should go over to that Facebook page, because that means stuff's not showing up in your feed.
Right.
It is. There's maybe like 3 new things showing up on there every time I look.
Oh, yeah. It's really busy. And then we also have Nextdoor.
Yes, I forget about that. Forest Park is active on the Nextdoor app. So if you have Nextdoor, and in your neighborhood has a Nextdoor section that you communicate with your neighbors in, Forest Park is in there too. So connect with them that way. That's a really good point.
Right.
So is there anything else? Obviously, we're not going to cover absolutely everything, but is there anything else you want to make sure folks know about this season anyway?
No, just all these programs that we just mentioned are on my homepage, so they don't have to surf through stuff once they get to my homepage. They just click on the link and it'll go to the page. But these are what we have every year, so they can depend on it. And we've already discussed, we'll have something that we'll talk about our annual programs, and we'll also have another show on our fall programs. And I've got some other ideas about things that we might want to do. But yes, this is a constant.
So if you're listening to that, no, there's going to be more programs. So thank you for watching this program, but also make sure you keep your eyes on Waycross Community Media.
Right.
Make sure you keep your eyes on the Forest Park page, because that's where you're going to see these shared, and you can find out what else is happening in the Environmental Awareness Department at the City of Forest Park. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.
I love it.
And Thank you for watching. Keep an eye on all those sources, and we'll see you next time.